your bell pepper and your celery, which is your trinity, which we added, and then you add your water and you just let that cook down and you start seasoning it. Now let me give you a very important tip. Add a little sugar, because sometimes when we're cooking with certain herbs and spices, it's a little tart, and my mom tends to cook with a little sugar. So just add a little sugar, not too much. Now you're just about ready. You let this cook for about 30 to 40 minutes. You're just about ready to add your shrimp. So let's do that right now. And basically I've used these wonderful, beautiful, look at this, look at how pretty. You just add this. This could even be crawfish, or you could add both, actually. So what you're going to do just before you serve this meal, you're going to add your shrimp. And you can certainly use, I recommend using the size shrimp that we're using here. Some people choose those little small shrimp. They make me nervous. I like a nice size shrimp. And there's so many places that you can buy shrimp today that there's no excuse for not using a nice, beautiful Gulf shrimp. And keep in mind that when you use a shrimp, you always devein it. If you notice on these shrimp here, I clean and devein my shrimp. That's very, very important. Now, basically, this is your shrimp, or you could make this a crawfish etouffee. Would you believe how quick this dish was to prepare? Basically, I would say less than 45 minutes, you could have a wonderful shrimp etouffee or crawfish etouffee. And basically what you want this to do is cook down a little bit. And then at the very, very end, I'm using some scissors, thank you very much. You want to just take a little parsley, cut your little parsley on top. You always put your parsley on at the very end. And what about some green onions, scallions, or whatever you want to call them. You know, there's a method to my madness. But basically keep in mind that this video will allow you to stop, fast forward, and rewind. This is the beginning stages of making some of the most wonderful comfort food from Louisiana. This is the beginning stages of making some of the most wonderful comfort food from my hometown, which is Lafayette. So put on some Zydeco music, R&B, classical, whatever, and let's get started making some more good Creole Cajun food. This is shrimp etouffee. Keep in mind, you can use this with crawfish as well. Doesn't this dish look absolutely wonderful? If you were following all the instructions as we were demonstrating on the video, this should be a very, very easy dish to prepare. Shrimp etouffee. And keep in mind, etouffee means smothered in a rich, rich gravy. Well, I want you to look at something. Look at this gravy. It's not real thick, it's not too thick, it's right in between. So when you make your etouffee, you don't want it to be too thick. Some people like it a little looser, some people like it a little thicker. If you make it looser, it's going to look like gumbo. We're not making gumbo, but this is shrimp etouffee. If you have a nice piece of fish and you want to bake that fish and make a nice presentation, if you're having a dinner party and you want to try to impress some friends, make an etouffee like this. It freezes well. And then take some of this etouffee and just pour it directly over a fish with a nice salad. Talk about delicious. I certainly hope you enjoyed this recipe for shrimp etouffee. And keep in mind that there will be a cook booklet inside the video with all of the directions in terms of how to make this. This is a quick and easy dish. Now let me show you one last thing. I love using some of these wonderful, wonderful pots and pans that they have out now, because guess what? I'm going to cover this dish. This entire pan goes directly to my table. So you know what? All I have to do is just continue to cook it, just say another 15 minutes, take it directly to the table, sit it on the table, and serve it directly. Also, look at this rice. I want you to just take a look at this. You can just do it family style. Make a nice pot of rice. It's nothing like having perfect rice. I'm using a, believe it or not, a risotto rice cooker to make my rice today. But certainly if you know how to make perfect rice, you know, it's very important. I want to just show you something. When you cook rice, I'm using Conrico rice, and it has a little starch in it, but you always want to make sure that your grains are separate. So what I did with this rice today, I sort of washed some of the starch out of it and put a little salt in it and a little vinegar. So that's your choice. But you also want to make sure that your rice is never mushy. I always make perfect rice because I learned from my grandmother, Antoinette and Laura Richard, all from Louisiana. So I hope you enjoyed this dish, and we're now going to move on to recipe number 3. I'm going to show you just a real simple, easy recipe that I have for green beans. I call these Zydeco green beans. mainly because I use a lot of Zydeco colors in it, and I use my little red bell pepper and my yellow bell pepper. But basically, you can use tasso. There's a place in Laplace, Louisiana that makes the best tasso on the planet. It's called Jacob's. You can use poché. There are a lot of places in Louisiana where you can order the tasso. Tasso gives it a real nice smoked flavor. But you can certainly use smoked turkey or bacon, and today I'm using bacon. And basically, I'm going to fry a little bacon in a skillet. I'm going to saute some onions, and normally I would use my little chopper over there, but I'm just going to do this like so. I'm going to saute some onions and saute that inside with the bacon. Okay? This is so easy because basically what you're going to do, this is the beginning stages, you're going to saute that like so. The next thing you want to do, and I'm going to turn my fire up a little higher here, and I'm going to add my potatoes. And I use the new potatoes, the red potatoes.